how did you feel when randomly, when it's at the top Radio Masti, government decides to shut that down literally overnight?
2016, June 15, I read in the newspaper that my station is shutting down.
What?
I would call my partner, right?
Yeah.
And my partner happens to be somewhere in China, and he starts crying on the phone. I wish I had told you. I did not tell you.
He knew.
He knew. All this while, if you go to our website, you will see that article that MediaCorp is going to shut down. It's a reminder not to trust anybody in business. I got to know from people from Bangladesh what he plans to do is one day before the launch, even after having a Play Store app, he was going to switch off everything.
No. Hello and welcome to the Dream Catchers Show Season 2, where we capture inspiring stories, one dream at a time. Brought to you by Vatan Se. Hosted by yours truly, Shalima Motial. Associate sponsor, Ritika, your health coach. Media partner, Crazy Talk. And makeup partner, La Rouge Salon. Knowledge partners, Global Indian International School, Singapore. Today, I'm really excited because it's the first episode of Season 2, and I have with me on the show the founder-director of Radio Masti 24/7 Singapore, the first live Bollywood radio across Southeast Asia. She's also a global corporate leader. She's won many awards and accolades and has also created a national record. So stay tuned if you want to hear more about this, or should I say, Josh mein raho! Please help me welcome Renuka Arora Bhagat. Woo, drum rolls. Welcome to the show. Delighted to have you here.
Thank you so much, Shalima, for thinking of me, inviting me, and of course, Josh mein rehne ke liye.
Josh mein rehne ke liye, right? So let's start and dig deep.
Before we start, congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much.
It was a beautiful season 1 and congratulations on season 2.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I'm so glad that you're my first guest, my lucky charm. Okay, so the first question, what was the vision behind Radio Masti and what prompted you to start it?
I call myself an entrepreneur or a mediapreneur by chance.
Okay.
Because it wasn't planned. Nothing was planned. I wrote to MediaCorp many years ago, having my career in the area of consulting. I just wanted to be a listener of Bollywood music, what I used to do back home in India, right? And I realized after being in Singapore for almost 8 years that there is no Bollywood music. And we didn't have the Spotifys of the world at that time. So,
right. We're talking about which year here?
I'm talking about 2008. So I just wrote to them randomly, to MediaCorp, and I got a response. Okay. And I quoted some odd numbers there. You know, you have so many Indians, you have so many Banglas, so many Hindi speaking, so many whatever, and people would love the music. So they called me and they said, look, you know what, just what you want. We're going to have a Bollywood station coming up very soon. It's a big business house back in India, and they're going to establish this. So yeah, but do you want to be a jock? Because they're looking for a voice.
Right.
And I said, yeah, sure. Let me be a jock. You know, why not? The confidence was never lacking, right?
Yeah, of course.
So I went to the India office for audition and they failed me.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's fine because, you know, Amin Sayani, Amitabh Bachchan, all these people failed at one point, right?
Yes.
And I was okay as long as there was the station playing, right? So 9 months into it, this station decided to walk out for some contractual reasons or whatever it was. So these guys called up again and they said, you know what? We have the license here. We have somebody who wants to take it because he's asking for a Bangla station and we're not able to give that language right now. He's willing to take Hindi. So do you want to, you know, just meet him? And I said, yeah, sure. So here I was. And it was absolutely a win-win because he was from a radio background, having multiple radio stations back in Bangladesh.
Wow.
And he didn't know Hindi. I had that. He had the technical knowledge, I had the business knowledge, the programming, and, you know, kind of the Singapore knowledge. And then the two of us came together with the jingle, Chahiye Masti. And then, and that's how it was.
And was it like live, recorded? How was it?
Oh my God, the initial 3 months, we applied for the employment pass of our jock, the first jock, right? And it was not approved. And that's when we didn't know what to do, because we had the penalty clauses from 28th November if we didn't go live that day. So, well, he looked at me and I said, okay. So we went recorded. I wrote 30 pages of the script for the 3 hours, reading every line like a newsreader would, being the most boring jock ever, I'm sure. And I thank people who could actually, you know, at that time, bear with me. So yeah, we just went recorded for almost 3 months till we got our first jock in Singapore.
Okay. Yeah. But how was the first experience of hearing your own voice on radio, even though it was recorded? How was the first broadcast like?
I felt I was the best.
Oh, wow.
And I had this guy who was my co-jock, who was equally inexperienced. Because during that chaos of not having a jock in Singapore, right? We decided that let's have some auditions. So we had a lot of people who came there who spoke with us, and we selected this guy just for his voice, his kind of sense of humor a little bit. He wasn't the best. But yeah, the two of us just had the first show on air, and that's how it was.
And so what was the public reaction?
Terrible.
Yeah. But were people tuning in? How did they even get to know about it?
Well, because already 5 to 8 p.m. we had the big FM, which was already there for about 9 months. So people did tune in as normal. They didn't expect a Radio Masti playing, right? And people were harsh. In fact, I remember one instance when maybe a year later or something, I was out at some event, and there's this one lady, and I know her personally, I don't want to say who, and she said, hey, you're Renuka, right? And I said, yeah. And she says, you are getting better now. You used to be terrible.
Oh my God.
And I was like, do I know you? So I said, well, as long as I'm getting better, thank you. You know, and that's the day I realized that people listen. Well, they're nice enough not to write in that you're terrible.
And the initial biggest, at the top of your head kind of challenges that you can think of, and then how did you overcome them?
Well, several challenges. The first one, as I said, was the voice on air, right? Which we couldn't get. So 3 months into it, in March of 2009, we finally got the voice, who was live. So she trained us. We sort of went live. And of course, the whole sound changed after that. We had advertisements which were, you know, really clients looking up to us, that you are the ones who are reaching out to every household. Everybody knew us. So obviously that image of keeping up, we wanted to have the India sound on Singapore station. And the Singapore stations were not ready for it. But we didn't want to change according to Singapore taste, because we wanted people to feel they have a home away from home. So we were sort of celebrating Indian festivals, celebrating
Holi,
Singapore
Diwali,
festivals, everything. And this was a challenge. I remember one guy who just called me in not so normal state once. And he says, you play songs only for Singaporeans, you know, on the show. And I said, well, we don't see passports when we play the request.
It's a funny thing to say.
But you know, people just like to do that. And we couldn't screen calls and things like that. When you get people on air, you just have that button which you press so that there's a 10 seconds lag and stuff like that. But it was interesting. Those were challenges on one side. Then, of course, getting clients to be with us to show that we can have that target audience. We have the reach. We have the quality of programming, everything together. And then
making it profitable as well, right?
Exactly.
Wow. Okay, yeah, this is getting deep and nice, but you know, I want to retain Dreamcatcher's hospitality.
Of course.
And we have some yummy kebabs from Vatan Se. So can we offer you some?
Absolutely.
You know, they actually do catering as well.
Oh, really?
And they send their team for barbecues at home and all that. So that makes it so easy, right? Invite your friends and they'll do the rest. Barbecue, kebabs, veg, non-veg, everything. Let's try some.
Of course. Oh my God, Shalimar. Is this paneer?
Yes.
And this is Vatan Se paneer, I'm sure.
Yes.
Oh my God, I've heard so much about it. In fact, I've tasted it as well. And kebabs are even better, man.
I know,
These are so soft.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
Yeah, wow.
Even the Shami kebabs, yum.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, do you want me to continue speaking or do you want me to eat now?
You can eat, enjoy.
But I'm going to wait after this is over so that I
Sure.
can just keep eating.
Absolutely, with pleasure. Tell me something. How did you feel when randomly, when it's at the top Radio Masti, government decides to shut that down, and you know, it was like literally overnight kind of a thing, like, or at least we felt it was overnight. You would have known ahead of time, right? How did that come about?
I love your assumption that I would have known
Oh, really?
for a while. So I think building from where we left it. Now Radio Masti, within a few years, reaches right there at the top. It's the first ever station to win 3 national awards at the MediaCorp Radio Awards. Just imagine a 3-hour station doing better than 24-hour station.
Absolutely.
And Hindi, who knows Hindi? How many people did we really have in this country, right, at that time?
Yeah.
And suddenly, people are looking, oh, new jock, best jock. Our jock won that. Most creative trailer. Things like that. It was just amazing. Sitting in the audience, just 3 people, because we didn't get passes to attend that radio show. And here we are winning 3 awards. So it was big. And suddenly everybody knew what Radio Masti is in the radio fraternity.
Absolutely.
Which was obviously great. And then, of course, come 2015, we're doing well. We're having a lot of fun. And then suddenly, 2016, June 15th, I read in the newspaper that my station is shutting down.
What?
I read in the newspaper that my station is shutting down. No, I'm not. I'm not. So what's the first thing I would do? I would call my partner, right?
Yeah.
And my partner happens to be somewhere in China, and he starts crying on the phone. I wish I had told you. I did not tell you.
He knew.
He knew. He knew all this while. The reason is that because he was in touch with MediaCorp, I told you the story, before I was. So he was the first point of contact for MediaCorp throughout.
Right.
And that's because I always had my corporate career. And that's when I realized that, the trust that I had in this relationship where I was giving everything. Imagine on top of a full-time job, you have a passion. And that passion becomes as big as a national brand. And the thing is that I happen to be the face of the station, of the brand. So every client was reaching out to me. The jock and the team was looking up to me as to what happened. Yeah. And that evening, the show was chaotic because the jock was getting questions saying, you guys are shutting down. And she didn't know what to say. And here I was also absolutely in the dark. So later I got to know that this business partner of mine had not told me anything because he felt that, I will probably start moving back and I will, not get more business and, things like that. So we'll be sort of switched off in a way. And he didn't want us to do that. He wanted to get along the way things were, business as usual, till the moment something we got to know about it. So we did. And I still have that. If you go to our website, you will see that article that MediaCorp is going to shut down. It's a reminder. Frankly, I like to remind myself of, instances that have really, really taught me a lot. And this was
resilience, I'm sure, to begin with. Yeah.
Well, not to trust anybody in business. But then there's no time to cry over that. What's happened has happened. You have to move on. Now the decision was what to do. What happened after that was even worse. I told him, look, the world is going digital. Singapore's talking digital. Hashtag digital nation. It's the best time for us to go digital as well. And there was no radio station at that time which was digital. It was an idea. It meant creating an app, making one, kind of moving your audience from there to, the new platform and a lot more. He agreed. And then he backed off. Then he agreed. Then he said, let my wife be your partner. I will just be a guide.
But you still trusted him with this?
Well, that's what I'm saying. We learn. I trusted because somebody 10 years older to me is crying in front of me and apologizing for what he's done. And here I am thinking, look, 7 years with him in the relationship, he's never behaved like that. Is it a one-off? Is it, And I'm being told by people, do not trust him. What happened was that his wife and I signed an agreement and she backed off the next day. Again,
2 days
this
before
was
releasing.
after creating a new company. She decided she doesn't want to continue. So I said, all right. But talking about trust, I got to know from people from Bangladesh who were working with him for many years. I got to know from them that what he plans to do is one day before the launch, which was 1st of October 2016, on the 30th of September, even after having a Play Store app, he was going to switch off everything.
No.
Yes. And I till date, I don't know why. I called him. I said, look, I want nothing to do with you guys. All right. He said, what about the app? Are you going to buy the app? Because he was getting it done. Technical. Remember, he was a technical guy. In Bangladesh, it was being developed. And he says, well, buy the app from me. Do you want it? I said, no, I don't want it. I didn't know where to go. But I had committed, because all this while, when we had divided the jobs between us, my job was to transition the customers from the old platform to the new platform.
Right.
And in the meanwhile, we'd even on Facebook Live, which was the most popular at that time, we actually did go live with the app, the Play Store app as well. And now this app stopped working. It would work, it would not work. You know, the control was with him eventually. So I said, no, nothing. I don't want anything from you. I'll see what I have to do.
Right.
By then, I had already found a studio. Now I was the sole investor suddenly. So there's pressure of moving.
Yeah.
This is 23rd of September and I have to go live on 1st of October with a weekend in between.
Right.
I took that whole week off from my work and I said, okay, full focus. My team was with me, trusted me. And that's when I made the transition. I met with the app provider in Singapore on a Friday on 23rd. He gave me the Android app on the 30th. Not on the 30th, after 4 days, on the Tuesday. And the iOS app is something I got on the 30th of September. So midnight, that's 1st October, we went live in the new studio with the whole programming, with both the apps, 24 hours.
Yeah, and what made you decide from a 3-hour thing to go all the way to 24/7? You could have said, okay, we'll carry on with 3 hours, or okay, maybe doubling it to 6 hours. But you went like all out. You said 24/7.
Shalima, just think about it. You switch on an app. It works right now. It doesn't work 1 hour later. You got an app to work or not work, right? Think about a radio station. You just switch on and say, okay, 8 to 10, it's working. But you want to listen to something at 11. So you go somewhere else. And then you never come back, right? So being digital comes with its pros and cons. Of course, And
you were clear about it right from the word get-go that it has to be 24/7 or nothing.
Yes. Yes.
So how was that changed?
So what I did first was, now that I was completely on my own, I researched a little bit on what do international stations really do. So 11 p.m. to morning, it's basically back-to-back music. But what happens is the live shows during the day, except for the jukebox and all that during the afternoon lunchtime, right? So I sort of researched that, then we made a whole program. Of course, we got some past programs that we decided to play and we asked people to bear with us and we called it a throwback. Technically, I was trying to be stable, understand how things work.
Right,
Getting my clients to say, all right, I give you some discounts, but stay with us.
And then did your clients also happily switch with you? Or did they say that, oh, app, oh, this, like those kind of questions come about, right?
I think what I'm very thankful for is that the trust, the brand that I had built over the years, that credibility that I had created with my audience, with my clients, that came handy at that time. They trusted me. Yeah.
So do you have any, at the top of your head, 2-3 pivotal decisions that you took that made your current Radio Masti 24/7 a huge success?
I think for an entrepreneur, these moments come all the time. At one point, you feel you've made it. On the other, the next moment you feel, why the hell? What's wrong with me? And in my case, it happens probably more frequently because I say, I have a job. What's my problem? There were instances. I think the technical part of it, when everything would work smoothly and things, I would say, yes, it's a high.
It's going great.
Yeah. When we had our first Masti showcase, which was coming from the earlier days, the singing contest. And you've been a partner on that as well. When we did that on the 24/7 platform and it got equal response.
Right.
There were moments when we had people like Manoj Bajpayee or people like Abhay, Ghulam Ali.
Right, I was there then too.
He came to the studio. They were just, it was like it's buzzing, it's mine.
Right.
And I don't have to take permissions all the time.
Absolutely.
Of course, we still follow the guidelines. We are supposed to follow the guidelines under, the media guidelines that have been laid out, which were and which continue.
Right.
But I think that whole freedom of 24 hours of programming, of being able to have the flexibility of being able to come and go anytime, invite anybody you want, keeping things in mind. I think all those are amazing moments. And then being recognized, we had a road show, I remember, Utsav, where ours was the only contingent, apart from all the Singaporean, Indian, Tamil contingents. Ours was the only one on that street, and we did a blend of Hindi and Tamil music, and having 60 people, all from our audience and clients dancing for us, because we don't have 60 people in our team, right? And they did that for us. So I think those are the amazing highs that I feel that at the national level, that you've created a brand. I was at one High Commission of India event, and the High Commissioner from the state says, "Masti, come here."
Oh my God.
And I'm like, she's calling me Masti. But then you don't know whether to feel good or bad, because your brand is bigger than you.
Yeah.
People don't remember your name, but they remember the brand. Okay.
That's good. And so then did you also grow the number of jocks for 24/7?
Oh yes, had to. So as much as I would try, nobody can speak for...
Yeah. I'm sure it's recorded also, right? I mean, you're not
we
doing
do have some recorded shows. For example, the ones where the production is really required. We've started with one which is storytelling, for example. So stories need to have that suspense music, a lot of on-the-job kind of things. That's what we don't want to do live. But most of the times, our jocks are very much live. And they are interacting with people. There's traffic updates. There's everything. So initially, I had challenges telling people that an app can be live. Because, as I said, we're the pioneers. People would not even understand. I heard competitors going and telling people, "Oh, Radio Masti has become Savan." I said, "Oh, okay. When was the last time you heard traffic update on Savan?"
Exactly.
What I do feel is that in Singapore, clients need to dig a little bit deeper when it comes to marketing and promoting campaigns. Clients really need to. They need to ask the relevant questions.
Absolutely.
The reach of a digital media, compared to anybody else, what that is weighed on, how that is evaluated. These are things that they need to ask. If you don't ask, you don't get the answers.
Yeah, absolutely. So would you like to have some samosas?
Anytime.
With our chai.
Of course.
And these are from Vatan Se again.
Wow.
Okay, can we have some samosas, please? What's the best feedback you got from the audience after making it 24/7?
I've always mentioned one story wherever, I talk to anybody about the station, about the platform, is the story about the old couple. This couple was an ardent listener of 96.3, the 3 hours. And every evening that auntie would tune in, uncle would also, request and things. It was easy to just call the studio. But the moment we said that we are winding up, and we couldn't say that, what are the reasons why we're winding up. People used to think, okay, you guys are just going away. And I promised them, I said, I'm not going anywhere. I'll stay, okay, somehow or the other. And she called up MediaCorp and she shouted at them, this is the only way that we stay connected. We old people can't get out of the house. We talk to the jocks. They talk to us in our language. You people want to take that away from us as well. She actually did that. And I was I was pleasantly, I was surprised, I was amused, I was feeling proud. At the same time, I was very sentimental emotional about this particular couple, right? So anyway, come 24/7, these guys they didn't have children, they couldn't use an app.
Oh.
So that is when I, along with my jock, went to their house. We set up everything for them,
nice.
Their mobile phones, their speakers, even connected their computers, laptops, everything, and wrote step-by-step instructions for them and told them to just click on a certain button to hear us.
Oh,
right?
wow.
And that's when I gave them my personal number and I said, don't bother about, calling anywhere, just do this. That's the moment that, I felt that a platform which probably I initiated, with the thought that I just want to listen to music, is today bringing so much happiness.
Absolutely.
And satisfaction and life to people who really rely on it so much. So there's a huge responsibility that suddenly I realized comes to me as well. So it's not just talking and making people smile. It's a big responsibility. So
is this how you define success for yourself?
I think there are moments when I feel successful, and those are moments like what we did during the COVID times for the migrants. When I had the migrants sitting on their hospital beds, we launched the visual platform at that time during COVID. Talking to them, connecting them with their families back home, getting spiritual leaders and coaches and their heroes to talk to them on that media platform, letting them ask questions, bringing them on the visual, just mentally helping them to make sure that they're in the right space. That's where I felt that, I feel successful because we've provided something.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Radio Masti has gone beyond just music, right?
That's right.
It's connecting people. It's so much more than just songs.
Yes.
Congratulations on that. So what's your vision for Radio Masti in the next couple of years or 5-10 years, whatever?
Well, every day I have a new vision. And believe it or not, my ideas come only in the bathroom.
Oh my God.
I actually used to think that, for every media platform, the vision is the scalability, of course, for every entrepreneur, yeah? So how do I scale? We're already global. But it's about going deeper. And as we say that this is the only live platform, Bollywood platform across Southeast Asia, I hope the other countries, now we are already in Malaysia, of course. We have listeners from all over, from Australia, from India, you won't believe it. I have so many listeners who actually say that Indian radios are only ads.
Okay.
You guys talk so much sense and you play good music, So that's why they tune in, and loads of them. So I hope that we can go deeper. But at the same time, I also sometimes hope that somebody else would come in and I would gracefully retire.
No way. Too soon, dude, too soon.
There's always got to be an exit strategy, right? And I feel I've done enough in that sense. And I think everybody, as you said in the beginning, knows Masti. They know the brand. Many of them know me. We've done what we've done, and it's time for the new generation to step in.
Oh my God. No, so when you're talking about the new generation coming in, why don't you give us some advice for entrepreneurs or homemakers, women in general, sitting at the fence, don't know what to do with their dreams?
Yeah.
What would you advise them, having juggled both your corporate life and being an entrepreneur simultaneously?
On one side, I would say it's always good to be grounded. When you're working somewhere, it keeps you grounded. You have a boss who's expecting things from you, and there are timelines that you don't decide for yourself. And on the other side, you have a business where you obviously have strategy, you have programming, you have deliverables, you have technical, you have so many things, right? I think for an entrepreneur, it's important when you step in, one, you believe in yourself, which everyone says. Second, you just are convinced about what you're doing.
Right.
Because there will be people, and I think it's only right, you need to have those people who kind of play the devil's advocate.
All the time.
All the time. It's important to evaluate, because once you are passionate about something, you might just ignore a lot of the cons, right? So it's important. Talk to people, figure out, do your research, That's really important. Don't just get into something because at the spur of the moment you feel that this is really going good, right? Because
I also feel that your why needs to be very strong.
Yes.
And then the how manages itself, right? But the why are you doing that has to be very strong.
Yeah, and be ready to re-strategize at every stage. Be ready to rethink, to upgrade, to do different, according to the situation, the internal and the external environment. I mean, Singapore's changing all the time, especially for the media environment. So you just cannot be stuck on something and say, this is what I have planned and this is what I will do. You have to be agile in that sense.
Absolutely. And the policies keep changing, the environment keeps changing, the target audience keeps changing.
Yes. So you've got to make sure that you retain your audience. At the same time, you create that space for your clients to just be with you, because they know that if 10 people are moving away from Singapore, they are still tuned into you. But for Singapore-based clients who don't have products anywhere else, you still retain 90% of our listeners are from Singapore, for that matter.
Absolutely. We wish you all the best.
Thank you.
And congratulations for the next 5 years, 10 years, or whatever your plan is. If it's an exit strategy, hope that happens nicely and gracefully. Now we will have some rapid fire questions.
No.
So fut in the Josh Mera Ho style.
And I get the Vatan Se hamper.
Yes, you will. You get Vatan Se samosas and kebabs and everything as well. So quickly, could you share an unexpected problem or an amusing mishap that happened during a live show?
The guy I mentioned who just called me up. And you know what I did then? I recorded him.
Okay.
Of course, that was the only time I had to record him without asking him. But at the same time, I threw the question to my audience because I was on a live show. And I said, look, guys, this guy's calling me up. And he's saying that I do this. And, you know, and they said, give us his number. And in the end, the guy called up and apologized. And he said, I'm sorry that I did that. So
the
that
guy
was
who
fun.
said that you play only for Singaporeans. Okay. Okay. What's the most unusual listener request you've received? And how did you handle it?
Invitations to their homes and, you know, things like that, which gets a little bit odd sometimes, celebrating with them and all, but though we love that. Making your favorite food and sending to the studio, surprise you, ordering Starbucks for you, and just saying, okay, we're sending coffee for you, you must be tired, things like that. But one of the odd ones was, can you record a song in your voice for my sister? She's your big fan. I said, my God.
I didn't know you were a singer.
Neither did I.
Okay. So on tough days, what's the one song that you play that instantly lifts your spirits up?
Different reasons for being tough, right? Every day is tough. But there is one song, Ye Hosla, which is from the movie Door, right? And this is something that my listeners request for me the days they feel I'm down.
Oh, I guess that's so sweet. Yeah. Okay, if you could add any feature to Radio Masti, what could that be?
Feature. We just launched a new app actually in December. We've just done podcasts, we've done a relaunch thing. We've got a chat room on the app actually, where people are having live chat now.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got...
Maybe you should open a Tinder equivalent or something.
Look at that. I'd love to. Actually, we have people from all directions saying, we want to get married, you know someone. So we just haven't started the marriage counseling.
The Seema of Singapore is Renuka.
I stay away from people's personal lives, Shalima, believe me. Enough to do.
Last question before we again dig into those kebabs and samosas. Who is that one guest you would like to get on your show who you haven't been able to so far? One special guest.
Amitabh Bachchan. So I always thought that if I get to talk to him, if I get to meet him one day, you know, because he's the same sun sign as I am, he's equally charismatic. He's equally...
Oh my God, okay.
So I guess if I meet him, it's the end of Radio Masti because that's what I said. But yeah, I'd love to. I think he's one idol. Yeah, for sure.
Lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was such a pleasure having you here, and what an inspiring story. So please, why don't you now look at the viewer directly and tell them what you wish for them in their life.
To all the audience who've actually lived through this 30 minutes of the show, thank you so much. I hope you found that story honest. It's real, believe me. There's a lot more. I've concised it. But I wish for you all the luck in the world if you're an entrepreneur. I wish for you a lot of patience, a lot of success. I know you guys work hard, but that satisfaction, I wish that to you. And if you're not an entrepreneur, then I wish you all the happiness and success, and support the entrepreneurs in your family. I think that's the message. And Josh mein raho, stay tuned.
Thank you so much for watching the Dreamcatchers show. Please keep watching on all our social media platforms, and we'll keep getting dynamic guests like we did today for you. Stay tuned. Follow all the TikToks and YouTubes and Insta and Facebook, everything where Dreamcatchers is, okay? Love you guys. Cheers. Signing off, Shalima Motia. Thank you. Yeah, that was my next question. What happened after that? yeah.
So this is a Bollywood story, all right?
Yeah,
this better be a 3-hour show, by the way.
Yeah, let's do it. Who's stopping us?